Hello, friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, Chicanos, and Hispanos. Hello, haters and enemies. Hello, haters and enemies. I really like that absolute motivation, y'all, doing those absolute motivation videos. You know, Rule 48 is on dismissals. And after 6 months, if there isn't a speedy trial, if a speedy trial hasn't happened, then the prosecution and the court has to dismiss the case. But if they want to dismiss it, but you don't want it to be dismissed, you have to give permission. The defendant has to give consent for it to be dismissed. So if the DA and the court was like, we're just going to dismiss this case and get on with our lives and quit fucking with the good fucking lawful guy that paid for his fucking permits and was nice and kind and polite and basically did every fucking thing that was right. Every fucking which way that was right. He reported the crimes that he saw. He didn't commit crimes in the neighborhood. Crimes were happening to him. I want to live in a world where when a major crime happens, either I get to defend myself or I get police protection. That's the America I want. You motherfuckers have been against that shit since I've been motherfucking born. This one God believer, I got my fucking radio stolen. Then we went to the police and he goes, we don't do fingerprints. Okay, cool. Cool beans. I'm a victim of a crime. You ain't gonna do shit. What the fuck is this bullshit about? I want to live in a world where when a major crime happens, either I get to defend myself or I get police protection. And I know. I'm asking for a whole bunch here. That's the world I want, Karen. Hey, you Karen motherfuckers. Why have you been against that shit since the beginning? So many motherfucking terrorist criminal sovereigns. So many motherfucking so-called sovereigns. Motherfuckers, this is America. There ain't nothing sovereign here. Nothing but we the people. We the people of these United States, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish justice, to promote the domestic tranquility, to provide for the common defense, and to promote the general welfare. To provide for the common defense, does that mean the government's supposed to give guns to us all and to secure the blessings of liberty? What do you suppose that means? And to secure the blessings of liberty. Hey, you white supremacist, child abusing, Confederate pieces of shit. And to secure the blessings of liberty, freedom. Hey, you don't know, you're against freedom, ain't you authoritarian, goddamn anti-American, Confederate, criminal piece of shit, fucking terrorist, fucking sovereign, criminal fuck. Post offices, they're kind of like the first courthouses, aren't they? Post offices, I really like post offices. I'm a big fan of post offices. Even though the U.S. government doesn't deliver when it comes to homelessness, they kind of deliver our mail. Now, I've lost 9 subscribers so far. What the fuck on my YouTube channel? What the fuck happened? Was it something I said? The 1981 Botham decision. Colorado Supreme Court says that no person should be forced to stand trial with a judge who has a bent of mind. People v. Botham. What year is that? I already told you. 1981, asshole. 1981 Botham decision. Wonder what that decision was about. So this is an update. This is an update on my jury trial. So the jury trial is April 5th, 6th, 7th. Not 10 days from now. And I'm looking for people, all the people that I requested some subpoenas. He went ahead and passed some subpoenas. And so I'm looking for all those people that I requested and was passed. I'm looking for Brandon Howerton for subpoena and questioning. What happened to Brandon Howerton? On Brandon Howerton, I'd like for him to go to court too. All the arresting officers should go to court. You arrested a man. Why did you arrest that man? And it shouldn't really be that difficult. In some respects, the police are just supposed to be a conduit, right? Just a conduit. They're not there to pick sides. That's for the courts to figure out. They're there to maintain order, make sure there isn't craziness that's happening right before them. I'll pay for Brandon Howerton's gas if he goes. I don't know where he's at, so if he hears this message, type something to YouTube, P.O. Box 128 Horoso. Send any information you know to Box 128 Horoso. So Brandon Howerton, just write me a letter, man. Now, I wrote somewhere else that I basically like 7 cops. And overall, I mean, I'm 41 years old, and the cops are absolutely fucking terrible growing up. I mean, we didn't have all this police reform when I was coming up. But Bass Reeves, Willis Russell, Frank Serpico, is it Frank? Frank Phillips, and Andy Griffith. I like those 5 guys. I also mentioned that I liked Howerton and Ricky. So I hope that doesn't put like a check mark. Oh, I'm going to put a check mark by your name. The only reason I liked Howerton was that he actually acted like he wanted to hear what I had to say. He actually truly wanted to hear what I had been going through. He was the only one that seemed genuinely, interested or curious to see what evidence I had or what eyewitness testimonies I was going to write up. Now, I only know what I've personally observed. And what the evidence suggests or proves. Ricky Rodriguez is in Blanca right now. I like him too. And why do I like Ricky Rodriguez? He genuinely listened to my complaint and he gave me a way to resolve my situation. And his way worked. That's freaking awesome. Hey man, there's a situation. Okay, I heard what you said. Why don't you try doing this way? Oh, I never thought about that. Thank you, Ricky Rodriguez, for hearing me out, coming up with an idea that solved my situation. Bass Reeves, what a badass. Black man in the wild white west, the criminal white west. But I bet you since the Wild West was so damn crazy, when you're like, what? A black sheriff, you would say, well, that seems crazy, but then you're out in the Wild West, so it actually totally makes a lot of fucking sense. Oh, okay. I mean, it's the Wild West. Of course a black man would be the sheriff out here. Willis Russell out of Owen County, Kentucky. What's up? He was a U.S. Marshal too. These U.S. Marshals, I'm liking these U.S. Marshals a lot. Frank Serpico. He turned on every single cop in the fucking precinct. Every cop was on the take, and Serpico was like, you're crooked cops, and I'm turning you all in. And then they attacked him or something. Frank Phillips. They say he's bad Frank Phillips, but he's actually good Frank Phillips. He's the one that conquered the Hatfields. And he also was anti-child abuse. Good old Frank Phillips. Andy Griffith. Good old Andy Griffith. I know it's fictional, but that should say something too. How come out of the top 7 cops, good cops I've met in this America, only one of them is a fiction? Why is one of them... I've only met 5 good cops throughout history, and one of them is fictional, Andy Griffith. And Brandon Howerton and Ricky Rodriguez, and I'm sure Brandon Howerton would have let me down, but apparently he got fired, and I'm not supposed to know why he got fired. And now, from what I observed, besides me and Mr. Casey, the driver of the big rig, there's 4 eyewitnesses. And I want all 4 eyewitnesses to go in. Who all saw Mr. Casey drive by my house? Well, Robert Pickrell was the one goddamn fucking setting this whole thing up, right? Robert Pickrell made the phone call. Robert Pickrell's the one that got the delivery. And even after the few warning shots were shot, Mr. Casey still went and delivered the next 10 minutes to my neighbor's house who had been fucking with me, a right-wing sovereign piece of shit who had been fucking with me nonstop. Phil Greeny, also a right-wing sovereign piece of shit, harassing me non-fucking stop. Phil Greeny and Phil Greeny's aunt, they gotta show up. Phil Greeny was driving by my house every fucking day. So if you're thinking that I'm just popping off warning shots at anybody driving by my house, Phil Greeny's goddamn driven by my fucking house dozens of times, at least a dozen times, and then you had Jacqueline Mitchell who drove by my house a dozen times. Did you hear any warning shots? Nah, not just because you're driving by, going on to your fucking... going to your destination. So Robert Pickrell is an eyewitness, and then he drove down the way, and Phil Greeny's aunt, there was a woman that was in the house. She took a picture. She comes out pretending she don't know all the fucking goddamn abuse that Phil Greeny was doing. She knows all the fucking terrorism and the harassment, nonstop right-wing sovereign fucking bullshit that Phil Greeny was doing. She knows every bit of it. So you only got 4 eyewitnesses, right? You got Mr. Casey and you got me. I'm at home peacefully walking my dogs, and Mr. Casey, he wants to goddamn threaten to murder my dogs by jerking his steering wheel, and the whole big rig jerks towards me. So Noah Spalding, Robert Pickrell, Phil Greeny's aunt, they've all been subpoenaed, and I'm looking for them. I would like for them to go to court, answer questions. If you're such good, honest fucking people, go to court and testify to the truth. I'm sure you were doing fucking legitimate shit. I'm sure you're lawful fucking people. I'm sure you're not a goddamn right-wing pervert. Noah Spalding's up at the top of the hill sitting there binocular my fucking family. He don't want me to go to the grocery store because he wants to binocular my fucking family. He wants me to stay right there so that way he could do whatever he wants to my family, my property, my peace of mind. Nick number 2, his mother had said Noah Spalding was evil. Noah Spalding accused Nick number 2's mother of being a child abuser. And when Noah Spalding shot his dog, shot a nice dog, Shakti, the protector of the neighborhood. But Noah Spalding, he's not a real man. He let a dog basically, he got beat by a dog. He couldn't put a leash on Shakti, couldn't put a chain on Shakti. And then he left Shakti out in the cold for 3 days in a row, let her freeze to death. He'd rather possess something even if it causes death to them. That's what he thinks love is. Not you pick a flower, you kill it. If you love a flower, you don't pick the flower. And you don't let it stay out in the cold for 3 fucking days. In single digit temperatures. Her fucking blood fucking froze. She froze to death outside. Nick number 2 told me to hate the dogs. You better hate the dogs, because he didn't want to tie the dogs up. Every time I went to the grocery store there in my house, breaking in, stealing my dog food, you think they were like, damn, our dogs are probably trespassing and fucking with his shit. Man, we should do better. You think they ever fucking thought like that, had a conscience, empathized? You think they want to be a good neighbor? And Nick number 2 and Noah Spalding and Nick number 2, they were watching too. So he drives by, he stops by Phil Greeny's aunt. Phil Greeny's aunt is going to take a picture. I'm going to drive by Phil Greeny's aunt's house later on. But Casey goes down, Casey comes back. Casey stops at Robert Pickrell's house, and then I drive around the neighborhood. And I drive, and I say hello to Phil Greeny's aunt, and she takes a picture of me. I'm yelling at the house saying, stop harassing me. Because this is Jacqueline Mitchell's old house. None of these people have fucking planning and zoning permits. My 3-pronged test for a fucking right-wing sovereign is don't be a racist, don't be a child abuser, and be in compliance with planning and zoning. Those, that you want to goddamn get rid of the right-wing sovereign fucking bullshit, a bunch of criminal fucking piles. They're not even reading the U.S. Constitution correctly. So they're not constitutionalists. They don't believe in the Bill of Rights. They're just nonsense. They believe in fucking nonsense. They don't believe in U.S. states. You don't think Oregon's a state? You don't think Texas is a state, you right-wing fucking sovereign dipshit? You don't think Maine and fucking Delaware are fucking states? I think we have 50 republics, and America is just kind of like the glue that holds all the republics together. If the U.S. government ever becomes tyrannical, then we're going to need the 50 states in order to defend us against the tyrannical American government. But I'm sure you guys all know that, the 3 branches of government and the rule of law. I know you know federalism. No, you don't, dipshit motherfuckers. Right-wing sovereign piles of shit. So, yeah, Nick and Noah didn't have any goddamn permits paid. Robert Pickrell didn't have any permits paid. And Phil Greeny and Phil Greeny's aunt didn't have any fucking permits paid. Are they trying to save themselves fucking $200 by being a piece of shit to me? And they didn't have enough fucking time to go see who had murdered my puppy. But they have all the time in the world to be fucking bitch-ass pieces of fucking shit to their neighbors who was kind to them. Right before I went to talk to Nick and Noah, I was like, God damn it, here I go again. Fucking being kind. I'm going to go introduce myself to these fucking assholes. And I regret it. I fucking regret it. God damn, I should not have... You see a Caucasian male move into your neighborhood, do not go and talk to him. Nick number 2, Phil Greeny's aunt, neither one have been subpoenaed yet, so it's not mandatory to attend for them. So it's not mandatory. But both are eyewitnesses, so they're invited to the jury trial, but they haven't been subpoenaed. And why haven't they been subpoenaed? Because I don't know their first and last names, which is ridiculous. in general, vague terms, April 5th, April 6th, April 7th. It's going to be a 3-day trial, and I presume that the way it's going to break down is April 5th is voir dire, or whatever, the jury selection. So we're going to pick 12 people, and really we should just get the trial, right on. It might take all day, but I feel in general, April 5th is jury selection, April 6th is the prosecution's presentation, and then April 7th will be the defense's presentation. So that means stay in touch with me. Stay in touch with me, and I'll let you know when the court needs you to come in. Be prepared to attend all 3 days, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., 3 p.m., whatever, just like at school. But if we got open lines of communication, you're not going to have to attend all 3 days. You're not going to have to sit for jury selection and all the rest. You just have to come in. And he's making all these my witnesses, which I feel like the prosecution, I don't know, aren't the cops the prosecution's witnesses? But if they're all my witnesses, then hell, the prosecution might just call Mr. KC, and then that's it. Their whole case seems to be a 30-second video, and then Mr. KC, the sole eyewitness, the sole complainer, the accuser, he's going to take the stand. So I think that might be the entire prosecution's case, and then I'm calling all the arresting officers, I'm calling the investigating officer, I'm calling the sheriff, I'm calling all the eyewitnesses to go to the jury trial, to attend the jury trial, and just tell the truth. Tell the truth. I want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And in fact, nobody could tell you to do differently. Nobody could tell you to, try to fucking shirk off your responsibilities. This is America. We have jury trials in America. Go testify and tell the truth. You had all day to be fucking criminal pieces of shit to me non-fucking stop, right? Phil Greeny, you fucking punk-ass piece of shit. I think it might have been Phil Greeny who had drove by here, and it seemed like maybe a cop or two had got into the melee, and I guess that was his final hurrah. And he was sitting there strongly considering popping another, bunch of shots up into the air. Why would he be shooting a bunch of shots up into the air? What the hell is this crap about? Is it swatting? He's trying to swat me. I call the cops. He disappears. And then I look like an asshole. And then the cops start harassing me. Why would a person just come up here? He shot 13 shots, 12 shots right here and a rifle shot right up over there. Why would a person do this shit? Phil Greeny. And then when I was getting arrested, somebody had fucking radioed in, oh man, he's real paranoid. Phil Greeny, every fucking time for like 2 weeks, there was a lot of shit that was happening, but for like 2 weeks, every fucking day, every time I walked outside my house, motherfucking Phil Greeny, Phil Greeny, Phil Greeny. So with my practice kids, you're going to murder one of my fucking dogs and then kidnap the other fucking dogs, and then you're just going to keep driving around my fucking house all day long, you fucking right-wing, creepy, perverted piece of shit. I don't want you sodomites around I want a safe neighborhood for my family. I want to raise my family in an abuse-free household, and I want a civil society. Those bitch-ass pieces of shit don't understand that. They was mad that I said, oh, you seem like a nice hippie. They got mad just because I thought they was a nice hippie. You don't have any fucking problems. You don't have any fucking real problems if the only thing you're fucking mad about, man, he said I was a hippie. And I guess, would you feel like a chump or something? Oh, you have a good, kind side to you? You have a good soul? Man, I'm so mad. I can't believe he said that to me. Hobbes says that just because I had trusted a fucking piece of shit doesn't mean I should get fucked for it. I don't go around criminalizing people. That's what the cops should fucking do, is stop people who do crimes against other motherfucking people. So the testimonies can only last about 10 minutes. 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, maybe at the most. Then I'll just page, if you're my witness, I'll just page you. You come in, you testify for the 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours at the tops. And then that's it. Then you did your part and you go home. I'm also had subpoenaed the planning and zoning. And really, I would just like to ask them a lot of questions. How do the 3 county commissioners treat you? Do you have a planning commission? Is it filled up? And what about the police? Do the sheriff and the cops, do they ever help you guys out? Are you guys on the same page? Are you guys on the same page at all? And why not? Isn't planning and zoning law? Isn't that Colorado law just like all the other laws in Colorado? So I think you do a proper examination, then a cross-examination. So I ask questions, they ask questions, I ask some questions, they ask questions. Then you go home. So that's pretty much for each and every witness, right? They ask a series of questions. I ask a series of questions. They review the answers. I'll ask some follow-up questions. And then I do the same as well. So I want anybody who comes to trial, April 5th, 6th, and 7th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, to be prepared to testify to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you anybody. There is no God, so help you your own soul, your own lack of conscience, your own lack of virtue. You know, our republic isn't going to survive if our people isn't virtuous. I bet you if you were to ask the American people, do you think you're a virtuous people? I wonder what that poll would say, but it would say no. Like Americans would just be like, oh, we're capitalist as fuck. Oh, no, we walk right by the homeless. We don't care if you got health care. We don't give a shit if you have health care or a house or food and water. We're Americans. And what's so fucked up is, you know, when I think about all the effort that goes behind being a terrible piece of shit, all the effort, every fucking day, that Phil Greeny, every fucking day, that motherfucking bitch-ass piece of shit driving like a right-wing goddamn child molesting fucking pervert, like a molester, oppressor piece of shit, like a right-wing sovereign fucking piece of shit, thinks he's above the law, terrorist fucking criminal fucking piece of shit, ain't gonna pay for planning and zoning permits. He's not gonna be bothered to be a lawful fucking person. That ain't who he is. When I think about all the effort that goes behind being a terrible, wicked piece of shit versus, you know, a John Masters, a good, humble John Masters, stays to himself, doesn't bother anybody unless they want to be bothered, could be your best friend or just an acquaintance. Really, it's up to you. I've been getting stalked by little Xanis online for like a couple months now. Motherfucker is saying some shit still today. Why don't you fucking show up for trial, you bitch-ass piece of shit? Who's that little Xanis fucking with me online? Is that Hiram? Who is that? Who's the little Xanis? Is that the fucking Fulbright piece of shit? Who the fuck is sitting there fucking with me? Non-fucking stop. Non-fucking stop. That Phil Greeny? Who the fuck is it? Noah? I've been getting stalked by a little Xanis online. These anonymous fucking creepy motherfuckers, they'll never go to court. They'll never testify on their fucking own. They'll never do it because they don't believe in honesty and the truth. They don't believe in America, the Republic. They don't believe in honesty. They don't believe in this country. I've been getting stalked by a little Xanis, not just online, but also motherfuckers driving around my fucking house for months. And the only reason they haven't been molesting and oppressing these last few days, molesting and oppressing these last few weeks, is because it's cold and wet as shit out here. But I presume that they'll be back, and that fucking sucks. It feels like such a violation. Motherfucker just puts it in floor low like a creepy right-wing sovereign child molesting fucking Nazi. If you could imagine how a fucking creepy ass child molesting Nazi would drive, that's how this little Xanis drives. It's like that white truck. I got a video of that white truck driving around my fucking house. Who the fuck is that guy? What the fuck is going on? I emailed the sheriff. I let him know about the shit. He didn't tell me nothing. You're gonna tell me he didn't fucking click on it? He didn't look at the thing? He didn't look at the fucking people? Only one guy came out here, Conejos County, behind Cooper Mountain. Only one guy came out here during the entire winter, 2022 and 23. He made it seem like he was always out here. Oh, dude, you just don't even understand. Yeah, I'm so fucking sure. I'm so sure. And no, you're not. You're not out here all the fucking time. And you know what? If we're fucking chill, if we're fucking cool, motherfuckers, you can't critique my goddamn life if you've never critiqued my oppression. You've never critiqued my oppression. You've never sat next to me. You've never been a friend to me. You never had a chit-chat with me. You never actually talked with a genuine goddamn concern. Then how the fuck can you sit there and say that? You can't say shit. You didn't try the one fucking thing that would have worked. I dated this one 40-year-old, fucking 45-year-old, some old ass. You know, I thought I was giving her a chance. She's still, you know, kind of. But I want a family, and so it's probably doomed to begin with. But we had dated, and she had visited the Rio Grande by, you know, the Lobato Bridge with me. In fact, that was our first date. We camped right there next to the Rio Grande by the Lobato Bridge on Frank Borski's land. But when we broke up, she acted like she was always over there. She was always by the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, and she's like, if we break up, then I'd look like a jerk just being over there for no reason, you know? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you was always over the bike. You drove 30 minutes out of Antonita, and then you drove an hour. An hour, that's probably all you ever did back in your 30s. I think men need to do way fucking better. God damn, men. So, if you're a Caucasian Karen, you get to be a fucking piece of shit even into your 40s? When are you virtuous? When are you good? We're going to lose our republic if we don't have a virtuous people. You think we got a virtuous people, America? What do you think? Men need to do way better. Mind over matter. Marcia Fulton. Marcyism. Here's a Marcyism. If she doesn't have any books, don't fuck her. You don't have any books? You read 1984? Do you read books? What are you reading now? What's the last skill that you learned? Do you try to acquire new knowledge? You know all we have is logic and knowledge. It's all we got. And, you know, since she thinks she knows so fucking much, there's an hour or more drive time between the Lobato Bridge and the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. The Sangre de Cristo Mountains goes up and down, too. You're acting like only that part of the mountain chain, an hour, 2 hours away from where you live is, I'm always over there. No, you're not. You're not always over there. You're not always over there. And you can still go over there. I'm not preventing you from going to the public parks and shit. We broke up. Don't fuck with me no more. Why don't you just say that you're hurt by that, asshole? All I wanted you to do is talk to me like a fucking decent fucking person, but she just kept being a terrorist fucking goddamn fascist nonsense. Like, oh, you want to get with me? Well, then I get to treat you like shit. God, that's like the thing about Kentucky that at least the laughter. It's not the screams, it's the laugh. It's like they're trying to get the joke and they don't really get the joke, but it's like, oh, well, at least he's not like our stupid ass abusive parents beating the crap out of us. Oh, are you okay? The Rio Grande and Lobato Bridge is on the southwest side of Costilla County. It's the bridge you cross going to Antonita and Sangre de Cristo Mountains. The Sangre de Cristo Mountains, the Blood of Christ Mountains, lines up and down the east side of Costilla County. So my main point is just so much effort at being a total fucking piece of shit. So much effort with hatred and meanness and cruelty and criminality. And I guess you don't need a philosophy of cruelty or a philosophy of evil or a philosophy of goodness. If you don't have a philosophy of all, then you're just an animal. So how many dumbass pieces of shit out here? Well, you know, we're just a bunch of animals. Motherfucker, we're rational animals. We have logic and knowledge, and that's all we got. So if you cut out rational, well, you probably are a fucking animal. And you know what you fucking animals never tried? You know what you goddamn bastard, total pieces of fucking animal shit never tried? With me, you never tried being kind. You never tried sitting next to me, being a friend. You never had an open line of communication. You never were decent. You never empathized, treated me the way you want to be treated. You never tried that. You never tried posting up at the intersection, seeing for yourself to see what was actually going on. Man, I hope Jonathan fucking survived all that shit. You weren't concerned about it afterwards. You didn't try that. And then overall, being kinder, they say smiling only, uses 14 muscles and a frown is 40 muscles. Being kinder, being decent, it's so much easier. And it's so much less stress. A lot less energy, a lot less stressful. Be kind, be decent. Be mannerly, and when people are fucking not being that fucking way, you never tried to be kind. If you would have tried to be kind, you would have got a great grand old friend. Forever and ever. Stupid motherfuckers. John Masters is a great person, a great man, a great neighbor. I like the guy. He'll leave you alone if you want to be left alone. He'll be your friend if you want a friend. Really, it's a matter of degree, and it depends on you. You want a great neighbor, a best friend? Okay, then I'm always over at your spot. And you're always over at mine. You want an associate? You want somebody just to keep on standby at arm's length? I get it. An ally just in case. Okay, just in case. Break glass. and then you'll have yourself a fire extinguisher. In terms of great upheaval, you're going to need a John Masters. I hope I meet another John Masters out here before the end. Never has a white supremacist, child-abusing piece of shit ever talked to me and walked away thinking, you know what? That's one of ours. Never. Never.